Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Hello and welcome to the Hi, hello, how are you guys? Let's just say today is going to be a mixture of story time slash examples but first, hey to those who are new. I don't really know how to explain what my channel is about because it's basically everything that connects to my identity with politics, dating, the dating nightmares, frenemies, so called friendships, fake people, family, mental health, trauma, because living life, living life as, well, a female woman and also a person of color slash being black. And I say person of color because since being light complexion, a lot of people pre-assume and say stupid, ignorant, naive, bigoted, racist things. And so I go from like I'm black enough to the racist, no good bigots who categorize and think all black people aren't deserving or aren't educated or smart enough or not capable of doing something other than, oh, we need to hire a black person, so that's the only reason you're capable of getting anything in life. But then there's also people, since I'm lighter complexion, they say the stupid, ignorant questions. Are you mixed? Which one of your parents are white? Oh, you talk white. So, and like, yeah, those are just a few examples. So, anyway, that kind of summarizes, but I talk about so many different subjects, including catfish. I have a couple catfish episodes, and because, especially in the dating realm, there's so many catfish that have tried to talk to me. It slowed down a lot since the election, which I'm probably going to talk about in another. I've brought it up a few times, but it's crazy. After, like, at first, since I created a list of standards, because, okay, real quick before, because since this is a dating episode, I can talk about this, and because it's my show, whatever, anyway. But in November of 2022, I was tired of the terrible excuses of men who I kept dealing with or who kept trying to match with me or talk with me or talk to me or whatever. And so I created a list of standards to put in my profile. So right off the bat, like if when guys saw my profile, they could say like, okay, do I meet these standards? No. Okay. So if I want to talk to her, it's only going to be as friends. That didn't happen. Instead, all of the men who don't meet the criteria, they decided to harass me, try to degrade me, troll me, and tell me that you're old, so you need to take what you can get. And it doesn't matter if you have anything in common with the man. You guys can be complete opposites, and that should be okay with you. And I'm just like, isn't that why some people get divorced? And uh, the broke men are real men. The real men have been in prison. Oh, literally, different men have told me this. Different, like, so yeah, watch. I have over, I think it's around 220 episodes, and I have so many. I have the screenshots. The screenshots are in the episodes. So if you don't believe me, watch more episodes, and you will see that it's like all I'm doing is I'm spilling the truth. I'm spilling the tea. And a lot of men, they try to say, what? So what do you have to in return for this complicated list when it's not like not having a prison record? I didn't even say jail. I said prison. Or I think I said don't have a record, but like if it's a long jail record, okay, I've already dealt with Mr. Lockakey. Like I we kind of started dating. Like I thought it was more like, let me get to know you, but he was like, no, we're dating or whatever. But it's like he lied to me for like I think it was like 3 to 6 months where I had no idea. While we were going out and getting to know each other, he was on probation, and he literally tried to get me in trouble by sneaking, like okay, watch the breadstick episodes. Breadsticks is in the title. Watch that episode. But yeah, like literally men like act like my list is so complicated. Being able to have a deep conversation, but then we're like with me. A lot of men tell me like talking to a woman's a waste of time. They need to shut up. Women talk too much. So that's a big, like, I'm a sapiosexual. I like conversating. I talk a lot, as you guys can tell with my episodes. But so that's another thing that, and the list goes on, but basically being able to adopt, like especially the Republican men. I don't want any kids that aren't mine. That's stupid. That's it. Like, but yeah, watch my other episodes. And but with dating, I already deal with my list of standards. But then on top of that, dealing with my newly diagnosed, and it's pretty new, like it hasn't even been 5 years, but doctors screwed up all of my life, blaming me, telling me the pain was in my head, I was making it up, I just wanted attention, blah, blah, blah. So now, like, I dated Mr. No Heart for 7 years, and that's mostly what I'm going to be. I'm going to have some other examples too, but dating him, he showed me how selfish men are and how some men will only date a woman with a disability because they know that they have limited options. They know that they probably won't break up with hit this guy or this person because it's already hard enough for them to date. So if it's hard for them to date, that means they're going to stick around with you. They're going to tolerate more. They're going to deal with more of the crap that they place on them because it's kind of like a power trip. And yeah, this is in my opinion, this is in my experience, but even before I was diagnosed, before I met him, a lot of men telling me just like, oh, and speaking of, yeah, watch this clip from The Help. I'm in a secret relationship because like the entire time this woman was talking, I was nodding and I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, exactly. I understand." Because like going out on dates and men would be like, "You're beautiful, so you shouldn't walk like that." And the Christian men, God wouldn't have made a mistake like that. It's like, it must be your fault. You must not pray enough. You need to dig into the Bible. You need like, because, okay, I'm going to step outside dating for a second, but my mom making me a list of scriptures, and she did it like 2 or 3 different times of, because she says you need to say these every day because just like the Asian vitamins she kept trying to force me to take. And she was like, if you say these every day, you're finally going to admit to yourself that you're lying and that you need to start walking right. And so, like, when people keep telling me there's no such thing as Christian trauma, you have no idea. But then, even trying to date Christian men and the awful, terrible things they say about me or tell me that like, you must not love God enough. You need to pray harder. You need to go to church more often. You need to have hands laid on you. And when I say I have several times, they say that that means you hate God. That means you need to have like Satan taken out of you. That must mean you have demons in you and all. Like, I have heard it all. And so while like dating and stuff, like even like, okay, outside of the whole Christian realm though, men would tell me that they would be embarrassed to walk around with me, and that why on earth Do you think that a man would want to have kids with me? Because if I don't know how to walk, that means I won't be able to teach my children how to walk. And like he he's not going to have time for that. That's the woman's job to do. But if the woman can't even do that simple of a job, that means she's going to be nothing but a failure. And yeah, oh yeah, that was a Christian guy too that said that. But yeah, I've been through it, and a lot of people don't understand just how far and how much different like mental health wise, like hearing that stuff over and over again. And then with Mr. No Heart, like he said he didn't really care about my walking and everything like that, but when it came to financial abuse, oh yeah, it's like I was working 2 or 3 jobs at the same time, like trying to save money, paying off credit card debt, trying to start a business, trying to get my credit score up. And I was like, I was doing my thing. But then he he would ask me for gas money. He would ask me for $20, $40. He would ask me for food to feed him and his daughters. And I realized after breaking up with him that I know that he thought I would never break up with him because of my disability. And it wasn't diagnosed until like 2 or 3 months before I broke up with him, and he didn't even know I was breaking up with. Like it was over. Like I knew it was over because when you don't call me, when you don't text me, like yeah, it was like go back and like I just did a 3-part series on the end of the relationship, but when it comes to dating while having a disability, it can be horrific. Like with Mr. No Heart, it's like I said, I would be working 2 or 3 jobs, and I was saving my money, I was investing my money, I was doing like trying to save for our house, and I was looking at different ways I can get my businesses started, and also like since I was gonna start saving up for a house, that meant I could start writing my book. So I even started writing my novel. Did he encourage me? No. And on weekends when my legs are hurting, when they're tired, like it was to a point where just trying to get into the bathtub was painful. But, and then my mom was fighting cancer, so trying to clean up around the house, trying to make sure at least the house was clean before I left. But the only, like, he wouldn't call to see, how's your mom doing? How are you doing? He didn't ask that. He didn't care. He cared if it took me too long to get to his house. He called to see how much longer it was going to take me. And then at the end of the weekend, when I would say, yeah, the weekend went by so fast. And he would literally say, yeah, if it didn't take you so long to get here. Again, my mom was fighting cancer. I was cleaning up around the house. I was working 2 or 3 jobs. He was asking me for money almost every single weekend. Almost every single weekend. He begged me to start a business. And then I had to pay for it because he didn't have a penny to his name. He begged me to start this business. I was the one doing the research, paying for like the materials and the certifications and everything. I was the one getting the clients and doing all the social media and stuff. I mean, yeah, it's like that infuriates me because I was doing so much work, and I was in more and more pain. Waking up on Saturdays just thinking, okay, I don't have to get up to go to work yet, or I don't have to do anything yet. Okay, I need to clean up around the house. I need to do some laundry. And my legs are infuriating me. I'm in pain. And he never really, like, the only thing he would buy me for Christmas, wouldn't even get me birthday gifts, was stuffed animals. And he knew I wanted a puppy. He knew I was saving for a house, but he had the nerve to say, if you buy a house, but he wanted himself and his daughters to live in the house too, but he wanted me to buy the house. He wanted me to buy the house. But he said if I bought a house, he will buy me a puppy. Like, and he thought he got away with this. Like, he didn't realize over the years, like, no, that the house that I get will only be in my name. And I will not allow your youngest daughter into my house. Oh, yeah, watch the breakfast episode, the pancake breakfast episode. And there's two other episodes. Yeah, the youngest daughter literally would physically ABUSC me and everything, and he would allow it. And his family members would be like, oh, well, she's terrible, but she's so cute. That's literally what they would tell me. She's terrible, but she's just so cute. But yeah, he wanted me to buy the house so they can move themselves in too. And I'll just say, in my opinion, because of course he's not going to say this, but whenever I would be working on my goals and I would be like paying off student loans, and like sometimes I'd be like, yes, I paid this off, or I did this, or yes, I started this investment, I'm doing this, and I'm getting like my credit scores at this level. And he was like, oh, good. So once you buy the house, I'll get you the puppy. And he did slip up a couple times. He did slip up a couple times because he did say, when you buy us. And I caught, like, oh yeah, I made sure. I was like, us? What do you mean us? And he looked me right in the eye. He was like, well, don't you want us to be with you? I was like, no, it's gonna be my house. I'm gonna buy myself a house. I'm gonna have a house. I was like, remember, you never want, cause yeah, he hated when I threw back. He hated when I threw back his philosophies or like, cause he told me he was never gonna get married. He was never gonna marry me. And so part of me was just like, if you never want to marry me, we don't have to live together. No, you're going to be here with your roommate, with your daughters. I'm going to have a house. You're going to buy me a puppy when I move into my house. And one time he tried to have an argument about that, but he knew, but the thing is with him is like, he would quiet it down because he would just continue, like, he would think over time he was going to change my mind. Like, all of the times he would try to tell me that once his youngest daughter graduated high school, that we were gonna move up to Lake City, Michigan, which uh that's a mega city. No, a black woman, like, I'm not. That city feels like a sundown town, but that he says he's a Democrat, but it's like 70% of the time he sounded Democrat, but sometimes things would, like, sometimes I'm like, ooh, yeah. Did you just talk to your mother? Because it sounds like you just talked to your mother, because that almost sounded like a Fox News comment that you just stated. So that just kind of sounds like you just talked to your mother. But yeah, it's like all of them are from that city. Like, I told the story about when I was up there, and it was around a little after 4th of July, and there was a concert thing going. They wanted me to tag along so that I can see what their city was about. And they stared at me so much that the oldest daughter was crying because she felt the racism being stared at me. I had to walk and calm down the oldest white daughter. Like, I was the only black girl there, But I had to literally walk and calm her down. And she was like, "Why are they staring at you? Oh my gosh, they're glaring at you. It's like, and they're like, they're not smiling, they're not happy, they're not nice. They are glaring." And I was like, "I know." And I had to literally tell her, it's like you have the privilege. Like, do you remember when people say white privilege? See, the white privilege is slowly being wiped off you. You are finally starting to see what we go through. But it's like I have had to deal with this so much that I already know how to pretend. I already know to just be like, okay, they're staring. Okay, make sure I am never left alone. Make sure that I am not going to be in any type of situation. And it's like, how much longer is the sun gonna be up? Because yeah, that's how, like, 'cause I remember even later that night they had to go pick up something and do something or whatever, and I ended up with my ex's niece and nephew. It might have just been the nephew in the vehicle. Oh, because yeah, I remember. Yeah, it was the nephew. Because I remember, like, out of the blue, he said I was hot or whatever, and I just burst out laughing. And I was like, I told him thank you, but it was a shock or whatever. But I remember I was like, the sun's coming down, because I remember I told my ex the sun's coming down, and I remember he kind of looked at me, and I was like, nah, no, we better get into your mom's house ASAP. I don't feel comfortable. So I was like, you know what the deal is. You know what we agreed to, because I told him. And because the first time I went up there was during the winter, so we only left out once. But I remember even at the gas station, people were staring me down. It was so uncomfortable. So this time I told him, I was like, once it's dark, I'm in that house, and I'm not, no. That's how uncomfortable I was. Like, and I was like, I never want to go back up there. And the last time I was up there, I told him that was the last time. And but anyway, yeah, I'm getting. You guys already know my episodes are as messy as my life. But when it comes to having a disability, I felt like he wanted to trap me. Since I have a disability, he just thought that once his youngest daughter graduates and and leaves the house or whatever, or he no longer has to pay child support or whatever, that I'm just gonna jump into his vehicle, jump into a U-Haul, and drive up north. Even like just because I have a terrible relationship with my family. And I mean, it's better now, but yeah, yeah, I'll just say it's better now. But he just thought that I was just going to hop into racism. Okay, no, 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 yeah, right, no. And even with my disability getting worse, like, I even told him, well, no, like, I want to be somewhere where I know the doctors in my health system. And I told him, like, when I do move out, I want to create or make the house to where it would be comfortable for me with my walking. And I didn't, like, he was just like, no, we'll find a house. We'll, and it's like, because yeah, the thing was, if I was going to buy a house, it wasn't going to be up there. But he kept telling me once I bought a house, he was going to get me a puppy. But then he told me that when his youngest daughter graduated, then I was going to move up north. Like, okay, so what was going to happen to my house? Was he expecting me to sell my house to then get another house with him? Like, no, his name's not going to be on any of my property or nothing I own. No, especially if it's going to be our house. That means both of his like, no, 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 no. And then it's with the comments that his family would make about my walking. and how they try to treat me. But then his mom, during one of the last visits, but I see how you walk so. People like you, like, I mean, you guys just have to prove that you're really disabled. And I'm just like, okay, so just because you see how I walk, she was like, well, yeah, it's like you have to show us, you have to. And I was like, but one of the last times I was up here, you guys were talking about how people with disabilities shouldn't be out or shouldn't be out and about. And she was like, oh, well, now I see you and I see how you about, but I wasn't diagnosed yet. So I was like, okay, well, I have walking complications, not a disability. I didn't know the truth yet because doctors brainwashed me for years, blaming me for the walking or whatever. But when dating, and I'm probably going to need a part two for this, but current day dating, men tell me that a woman with a disability is too much to handle. A woman's supposed to be the one cleaning up around the house, and if I have a disability, then I'm not going to be able to do what I'm supposed to do. And oh, if you have a disability, that means our bow chicka wow wow life's going to be a waste. And no, I was like, I need a freaking bed or whatever. It's like, if you have a disability, then you're going to be too much responsibility on me. I'm a man and I'm going to need you to do A, B, and C. It's like, if you have a disability, then you're going to be taking away from me, taking away from A, B, and C and stuff like that. But then some of them, once they, like, some of them have looked me up, and some of them looked me up after saying all the stuff about my disability. Once, some of them find, well, I'm still working on my books and marketing and everything. Like, yeah, because I have a disability and most of my money has to be able to afford getting my life back in order and affording physical therapy, medicine, and things like that. So, but then when they see that I am working on my business, all of a sudden, they want to see how they can work it out. All of a sudden they want to see how they can figure it out. Once they see what I am working towards, once they see, like, just like with my ex, he saw how hard I worked. He saw everything that I was working towards. So that's the only reason he wanted me, so he can take advantage of me. And some of these other men, they didn't want anything to do with me because of my disability. But then they saw what my goals were. Then they saw what I'm working towards. All of a sudden, I was worth their time because they wanted to see how much they could take from me. That's one reason. And I agree with Mr. No Heart. I'm never getting married because my property, my business, everything I've worked. No, it's like, because I'm the bachelorette, the African American bachelorette. I forget her name, but oh my gosh, when I found out, like, she had to give her ex $500,000. No, won't be me. Won't be me. Because, yeah, by miracle, if I ever do, it's going to be a like, because, oh yeah, she brought up prenup to him, and he said no. She didn't want to make it a big thing. Oh, it's a big thing now because now you have to give him $500,000. No, 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 no. Won't be me. So to me, I'm like, I'm just not going to get married. I'm not going to get, like, I'm going to work on my books, going to work on my channel, going to work on all of my goals and things, because a lot of these men just want to see how much they can get out of me. And that's not fair. I have a disability, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be part of their probability of their goals and stuff. No, 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 no. That is, yeah, my disability does not make me a probability. Don't get that twisted. But anyways, this is the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human, and you're human too. Never forget that.